Hey guys, thank you so much for tuning back in to another episode of We the People. While the rest of the world is out there enjoying amazing spring weather, here in Chicago it's still below 40. So this is why I am bundled up, because it is freezing cold. But anyway, today I sit down with my barber, Ivan Hairston. Ivan is an amazing guy who's doing great things at the Hyde Park Barber Studio. And through my 4 to 5 years of going to him for haircuts, we've had some really cool conversations. So I thought that it was only right to be able to highlight him and his story on my video series, We the People. I most recently went to get a haircut from him as I prepare to go to Coachella, but I want you all to listen to some of the amazing ideas and things that he has to share in regards to the barber profession and where he sees the profession going in the future. I hope that this interview is enlightening, just as it was for me when I conducted the interview. Make sure that you follow us on social media at Be Hopeful People on Facebook and Twitter and YouTube, and then check out our website at BeHopefulPeople.com as we get ready to close out this second season and prepare for season 3. I want you to stay tuned to some of the amazing things that we have coming out over our break in this summer. Let's listen in.
I'm Ivan Pierre Hairston. I'm from the south side of Chicago, born and raised. I'm a professional barber. 3 generations, grandfather, mother. I guess I could say that barbering is in my blood, if you will. I've been around here since I was a small child, beauty shops, barbershops. Went to college, tried to do something different, and I still ended up right back here behind the barber chair. Growing up on the south side of Chicago was interesting because you had what most parents try to do was keep their kids sheltered away from the dangerous situations or what you would call bad neighborhoods. So I went to school in Hyde Park throughout my whole upbringing, Ray Elementary, Kenwood Academy, but I always stayed in different neighborhoods around the south side of Chicago, like Inglewood, the low end, the east side. It's a whole different culture here. It shows you how to be strong. It grows you up a little quicker than most kids might grow up, depending on where you at in the city, depending on the lifestyle and the background. I can say that my mom was pretty smart or pretty proactive by setting me in different environments and hipping me to different cultures and different things, which I believe gave me a good balance. Yeah. Growing up, not right off the bat did you really realize the complete structure of the barbershop. Being a young guy, you probably couldn't put word to it, but you just knew that it's something that you wanted to be a part of. All different kind of men, all the fly guys, the nice cars, all the politicians and the guys that's known around the neighborhood, any and everybody in the city you could be next to and have words with inside the barbershop. And in a sense, being a young guy, you still felt like a man being a part of those conversations. If the environment was right, then you would get taught different things that you might not necessarily hear inside your home or from a family member by another grown man that's been through different situations. And then you might hear it, but then it's always good to hear it again. And then you become part of the shop, you become part of the family. Most times you grow up in the barbershop if it's in your neighborhood. Yeah. I would say high school, probably about 14, 15. Took some of my mama's old clippers she had that she didn't really utilize because she did mostly hair. And I had a couple best friends from grammar school and a couple people they knew, and they would start coming to the basement. And I just would practice, man, just would cut. Sometimes I didn't feel like it, sometimes I did. And one of the things that I wanted to do was I wanted to take cutting hair to college so that I can make some money. I already knew then I didn't want a job. I didn't want to check in and have no 9 to 5. I wanted to be able to cut hair and go as I please. And that's what sparked the interest. I would say the social aspect of it is key for me, because that's one of the things that I'm good at. That's one of the things that I've always done, was be a social guy. And to be able to come in contact with so many different people, like I said earlier, to have different conversations and to teach people things, to learn from people. People had to tell you about different countries, and you might hear about some politics that you wasn't aware of, and the latest trade from the Bulls to the Knicks, or whatever you may have it. It's just a thing that can't really be put into words. You feel the love you feel from your clients, and the love that you give back to them is just unexplainable to me. I think it's important. I think it's a local hub for guys as a safe haven, as we know, but it has to be some substance there for it to automatically be that place where everybody, migrate to. Being a barber, believe it or not, some guys may not realize it, but you have a responsibility to influence the people that you're touching and that you're talking to for 30 minutes or to an hour every day. Uplift them, push them in the right direction. Some are, or maybe already might be headed that way, but it might be a personal situation that they might just need to vent about. Any little way that you can, just better that situation. Whether it be a conversation, or maybe they down or lost a family member, a free haircut, whatever you can do in your own little way, you're slowly adding and putting positive energy back into the community. There was a young man that went to school across the street, and he was telling me how frustrated he was with some of the treatment that he had been going through from his local, his schoolmates, his classmates, and how he just, usually just keeps to himself, and that guys would pick on him, and that he was ready to do all type of things and retaliate. And I just let him know that, that we all put here for a reason, to do our part. I said, and you're a particular kind of guy. I told him I could tell you're a special kind of guy. I said, you light up the room, you come in, everybody greets you, everybody wants to say hi to you. I said, that's for a reason. So I got his focus off of the negativity over at the school, and put the positive vibes that he gets here at the barbershop in place of that, and just let him know that, they just don't understand. They're immature, they're kids. We all were at one point. I was, I tried to be the better half of that, but at times I did wrong and laughed and cracked jokes and messed with people when I wasn't supposed to. But I told them it's a process. And I said, you're just getting started in life, and some things you don't take so serious. Maybe you join in with them on the fun. I said, talk about one of them and one of their shoes and laugh it off. I said, or you just distance yourself from them kind of people if you just can't take that type of negativity. And he came back, he graduated, this kid's in college now, and he graduated and he came back, and he told me how much of the man he was in college. And I was just telling him that, see, that's something that certain people can see in you that others can't, and that's just life. And people that don't see the best in you and don't push you to be the best that you can be, then you just leave them where they at. So I felt pretty good about that. From being a kid and getting haircuts and walking up to the barbershop myself, since a young guy, I would say the barbershop has changed tremendously. From the way the barbers conduct themselves to how they run their businesses. I think they lost the essence of being professionals, which is what some of the things where we talked about earlier. I think that guys don't know their self-worth as barbers a lot of times. Not all barbers, there's a lot of good barbers out there, but it's more to being a barber than cutting hair. You know, it's how you present yourself, it's how you dress, it's how you conduct your customer service with the client and make them feel okay and make them feel comfortable, valuing their time. You can do those things, the haircut can be okay, and over time the haircuts get better and better. The more you cut, the more you're consistent with what you're doing. But what comes, a professional comes respect. And so that if you carry yourself, from what I understand, at one point, barbers were held next to some of the highest professions that there is out there: doctors, lawyers, corporate guys. We dressed in suits every day, at least a collar shirt and slacks, and we stayed clean. Face wash, teeth brushed, cologne. We were groomed. I mean, you know, how am I gonna look crazy and expect you to trust me to get you right, to get you together? I think if we all did that, then I think better opportunities will present themselves for barbers. Man, I could say that I could say I'm blessed, man. I really can't put too many words behind it. You know, all you can do is give it y'all, like I said earlier, stay consistent and hope for the best. And I set small goals for myself over time. I had a few clients coming in, but for the most part, I accumulated most of my clientele being where I am now at Hyde Park Barber Studio. But I gave myself 5 clients a day when I first started. I think I landed that in the first week, which was mind-blowing to me, probably nothing to a seasoned barber. But for me, a young guy making at least $100 to $150 a day was a good start for me. And once I got that going consistent, then I said, well, I'm gonna do 10 haircuts a day. And before I knew it, I didn't even realize I was doing 10 haircuts. And the more I started seeing people out, and they were like, man, I'm trying to get in and get a cut, and I can't get a cut, and your app is booked all the time. And I was just like, hold on, wait a minute, I gotta reevaluate this thing. And man, before I knew it, I had a full schedule most of the time every week. I learned a lot here where I met from these guys that I cut with. A lot of my older guys have been cutting hair 20 plus years. I would love to apply some of that to my own thing and put a young twist on it, make it mine, to continue the high profile clientele, the celebrity clientele, which to me is just on its own a whole nother level of barbering. And to be able to be around those people that are experiencing those type of things and that other culture, and just going here and to there, flying and doing all this type of stuff, is amazing. It's something that you would like to do yourself, and why wouldn't you surround yourself with them kind of people, right? I hope one day that my brand could be as big as those people, and that people would know it just like they know those people. So, you know, I do know that my main clientele is my foundation, and I do appreciate them, and I do understand that you know, at times guys that get busy and end up being a little successful could be a handful and you know, hard to reach and hard to get, and somehow, in some way, I guess another blessing, they stay with me, they stick with me, they understand. I love what I do. I guess that's all I could really say.